Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 Subaru WRX TS. This is finished off in a crystal white pearl. The MSRPs are just over $46,000. Now this is powered by the 2.4 liter flat 4 turbo boxer engine. It is only paired to the 6-speed manual, and it pumps out 271 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,400-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. It has a top speed of 145 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 16.6 gallons. You'll expect to see 19 miles per gallon in the city, 26 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 105.2 inches. Its overall length is 183.8. It has a width of 71.9 and a height of 57.8 inches. Now the TS stands for Tuned by STI, so we do have some upgraded goodies for this particular model. There's adaptive dampers, there's also Brembos with 6 pistons up front, 2 pistons in the rear with larger pads and rotors, and then those 19-inch satin gray wheels along with the recaros for the interior. So let's take a look at the exterior styling now, where Subaru still has the air inlet in the hood there with some nice bulges running down both sides. There's a small set of housings for the LEDs up front, where this also has LED fog lights in the lower section. Now with the new Subarus, they do have the plastic cladding that runs around the entire exterior. So the entire lower section is plastic, where there's also some cutouts, and then there's gloss black for the grille with the WRX badge over on that right side. And as we take a look at the side now, really nice set of wheels again with those gold Brembo brakes, more plastic for the lower section. There's gloss black for the mirror caps, which do have the turn signal. No sunroof for this sedan. There's the black trim accents around the windows there, and more cladding for the fender arches. I think it would look cool to see maybe an option to have them gloss black or body colored for future models. Now in back, there's gloss black for the spoiler. There's the backup camera, more gloss black running through the trunk, where this also has LEDs on both sides. There's the quad tip dual exhaust, and then more plastic for that entire lower section. Now, as we take a look at the interior, this has quite a bit of space for this sedan. You do get a little bit of storage underneath the floor, and then you can also fold down the back seat, so you can place in some larger items. Makes for a very practical sedan with the amount of space that you do get. And then as we work our way to the interior, with the TS, I believe all the models will come with the blue interiors. This also has the carbon fiber accent surrounding the window trim. You have an automatic window, a little bit of storage down below, and then more blue for the Alcantara seats. Very nice to see this design. And at 5'10", I can hop into the back where there's the storage pocket. You have auxiliaries in the middle and plenty of space down below. I also am just barely touching the headliner here, so I can sit upright. If you're any taller than me, it's going to be a little bit small, but you still have a practical sedan to put people here. You have the armrest and cup holders. And then here's a look at visibility. You have a pretty thin pillar there, so you can easily see in the back. And then up front, you have the same design, Harman Kardon for the audio, all the window controls, side mirror adjustments, and additional space. And then the automatic adjustments for the recaro front seats. These are very comfortable. They hug you well. The bolstering support is fantastic. And this has a leather steering wheel with a flat bottom design to it, some more carbon fiber accents. This only comes with the 6-speed manual transmission. So with my foot on the brake and the clutch, we have that STI engine start stop button. Let's bring this to life. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you have quite a lot that you can go through using the controls on the lower left. So if I just use the arrows up or down, you can scroll through some information over on that left side and use the opposite arrow just to go back through that information. But if I hold on the middle button, you can change the entire layout. So now we have the distance pacing, lane keeping assist. We can pull up miles per hour with more of a normal gauge cluster with the tach on one side, miles per hour on the left. You also notice STI is over on that tach side. And if I push on it one more time, we can bring the navigation back up. Now there's also your volume tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, and then cruise control, distance pacing, steering assist mode, and a favorites control. On this left side, there's a dimmer switch, traction control, and the trunk release, one air vent with some more of the suede material, And then with the infotainment system, you have a good bit to go through. The upper section has all of your favorites. So you can place what you would like to see up top that you can quickly scroll through, and then you have the icons laid out well underneath that. There's the home button to get back to this. If we push on the car setting here, you have your vehicle control, so you can go into your drive select where you have comfort, normal, sport, sport plus, and you can configure those as needed. You have your driving assistance, so you can go through all of that technology, and then more settings to configure this as you would like to. There's also a person here, so you can get into your driving profiles and then get into your phone and pairing that. All of your climate adjustments are underneath that, so if you just push on that square anywhere, it will bring up your temperatures and the rest of those controls. And you have a few shortcuts down below, along with the heated seats. You do have some physical buttons on both sides too, and then lots of storage with auxiliaries down below. If you pull this up, push it to the right and down, that is for reverse, so you get that backup camera there. You have the manual e-brake, a little bit of storage with 2 cup holders, and then a 12 volt and some space in the center armrest. You do have plenty of space in the glove box as well, and then the rear view mirror and dome lights. And here's a look at visibility over both shoulders. It's pretty easy to see, not too many blind spots for this smaller car. So as we set up behind the wheel now for the new WRX TS, it's a new day. I have a few more miles under my belt, and we just finished taking this to the mountains. So that was earlier today. Take a look at that separate video to see our thoughts with how this performs through the twisty roads, its acceleration and everything like that. But for the last few days of driving this around, I think it's a really nice sedan. It has been pretty comfortable to drive. We have the different drive modes for the suspension, which made a big difference in the mountains, especially with the steering input and just being able to feel the bumps in the road, things like that, how it stiffens up. So I think it's really neat to see that we have a lot of the performance characteristics to make this a good handling vehicle, but it's not necessarily the quickest. It doesn't have the STI level of performance for its horsepower and torque. We just have the larger brakes, of course, which is going to help the suspension and these recaro seats. Now with these seats, let's touch base on that. I think they're pretty comfortable, but they're a little bit short underneath the back of my leg here, so I don't really have an area for the back of my knee to rest. And they are height adjustable, but the front just doesn't go up quite high enough, at least for me. My brother was in this as well for the mountain drive, and it was a little bit uncomfortable for him too. So interesting to see. They're really supportive though as far as going back and forth, but it's just that one area there. The rest of it is pretty comfortable to drive every day. But I would like to see, TS stands for tuned by STI. So I would feel like this should have some kind of tune on it to make more power, since at least as of now, Subaru isn't making the STI. The TS seems like kind of a teaser unless that model will be coming soon, because we just kind of have everything about this is STI minus its level of performance. But aside from that, I think it's a really nice manual sedan. We have a lot of competitors to this that are all hatchbacks. So if you're not a hatchback fan, this is kind of your only option to go with if you want a sedan, but you still want that manual transmission. It also sounds pretty good too, depending on the level of acceleration that you give and the downshifts. You can hear a little bit of the exhaust pop, but it doesn't have that boxer rumble like the STI would. So I didn't quite hear any there, but in the mountains we were able to hear a little bit of it. Shifter is also pretty engaging too. Clutch pedal is super light. I do like that. I don't think I mentioned earlier, you can actually see what gear you are in the lower section of the screen, which is nice. It was very helpful in the mountains, especially just when you're paying attention to the road and not necessarily what gear you're in, but it's nice to have. I do wish it was larger. I do wish this also had a head-up display. I feel like those two points would be nice to see, especially in a vehicle like this where some of the other competitors do have that head-up display. And I wish it was a little bit more configurable with some of the performance screens. Kind of just seeing the gauge cluster and the RPM is really the most performance that you see in terms of how the screen is set up. And it's pretty easy to rev match too. There's no built-in rev matching, so you are on your own for that. And with another acceleration from second gear, I'd say it definitely has a good bit of power. I just wish for, especially this Model TS, or not having the STI yet, I feel like it should have at least 300 horsepower or a little bit more, but it's adequate for this. And this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the new TS. Has a good steering wheel placement to it. It is adjustable manually, so you can get it into a good spot. It's just the bottom of these seats that are just a little bit different. But I will say, for this model, we have very nice materials. There is some plastic, but we have all the carbon fiber, the suede material. The seats do have a really nice material to them as well. And it's been very comfortable for the last couple of days. I do have it in dynamic right now, or the Sport Plus settings, which you can easily get into. So it is a little bit stiffer right now, but personally I like that. I like the stiffness of it. And then when you want, you put it into comfort mode, makes it a little bit more daily driver friendly. So this would make for a great daily. I think one thing that a lot of Subaru owners also would like to see is all of the plastic cladding on the outside, either gloss black or body colored. I've seen a lot of people who have had them painted, and it turns the exterior of this car completely around. I'm not sure why Subaru doesn't offer something like that. The plastic is just not something you want to see on a car like this, but I guess I could see kind of this being that rally-inspired, rally-focused vehicle from Subaru. Maybe that's why they have that design, just to make it look a little bit more rugged in a sense. But I think it would be awesome to see some of the body colored or gloss black accents for that piece too. It's been a fun car to check out nonetheless. So again, take a look at the mountain video where we really get to experience its performance and handling. And in general, I think it's a cool new model to see for the 2025 year. Hopefully that means that maybe an STI is on the way, and this is just kind of that step below. So hopefully an STI will be coming at some point. We'll just have to wait and see. But if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.